Hey everyone, happy Tuesday. It is a big night tonight. It is the State of the Union, and we are here. I'm Meredith Lynch. I'm with my wonderful co host, Rebecca Senanez, and we are here to break down the State of the Union for you. We have
as much as humanly possible.
Yeah, that's a great point. And we have such a fun night packed. We have creators, we have lawmakers. We're going to watch the State of the Union live together and we're going to comment on it. And, so
we're
anyway,
going to take your questions,
yes,
your comments. We want to have a conversation with you. We're all here to sort of digest what is the state of our union. Do you have an opinion on what the state of our union is, Meredith?
Well, it's really interesting you say that because I do want to be honest and say, there are things that are happening in this country. Like the job market is a little bit better than it was before.
Mm-hmm.
The economy is a little bit better than it was. Inflation is a little bit down. So there are a couple of things that are going better, but I don't think that, on things like immigration, things like healthcare, which by the way, I was thinking about this today, healthcare and the economy, it should just be like one issue at this point.
100%.
But they always separate them.
Yeah, because it's one more thing that they can be like, how do we wedge and segment and like, who do we, yeah.
So I'm not saying that we're in a great place, but I do think that Trump can find ways to frame tonight as things are going well. Although
I think he'll try to.
I want to get your take on this too, but his approval rating has never been as low as it is right now.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
Megyn Kelly was saying it today. It's the last time it was this low, it was the day after January 6th.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yes. So how do you feel about the state of our union?
Well, I mean, you know how I feel about the State of the Union generally, but I do think like both Trump and Joe Biden have had an issue where they're telling you that things are more affordable than they are.
Mm-hmm.
I found that both of them, and I found it infuriating when both of them did it, where they would be like, actually, the economy is great. What are you talking about? And then I would drive downtown LA and see entire homeless encampments, people living outside like it's Hooverville. And so I think that is going to be an issue for him tonight, among other things. But like if his big electability issue right now is affordability, I think that no matter what he does, like how can he possibly frame it in such a way that's going to make the average American feel like, yeah, things are going great.
How long do you think he's going to go for?
Okay, that's been our question tonight because people have been, texting us. We have a lot of really exciting people coming in. They're like, what if he goes for 3 hours? Do you still want me at like midnight? And we don't know. Do you think he's going to go for however long? What do you think?
I mean, here's the deal. When you're not in a good place, less is always better, right? Like
I think less is better always, period.
Like Rebecca's dad is here tonight.
Yeah.
Shout out. So excited.
Well, he's so happy. He got so happy.
But like my dad's a big fan of the show. And my dad and I have a great relationship. But if I knew in high school that my dad was a little sick of the bullshit, I would know to like not give too much. Like I would be brief.
Yeah.
And so brevity can often be key to, keeping people calm, etc. So do I think he'll do that? That would be what I would tell him to do. I'd say, hey, keep it really brief.
I have a feeling that, Susie Wiles and his speechwriters were like, here's a tight 40, and then this is what he always does. Like I remember watching him at the RNC, and you could tell the parts of the speech that somebody wrote that he was looking at a teleprompter, and then he would like get something in his head. Like, did you see on Friday, this was after we did our last show, when he did his press conference about the tariffs?
No.
Okay.
I didn't see it.
Well, I watched it. I don't know why I do these things for myself. He went for like a good, I'm going to call it at least 10 minutes about kissing a steel worker.
Oh, yeah. That was my Friday night. That's why I couldn't see it.
It was hot.
Yeah.
Right?
I was making out with a steel. Don't tell my husband. I was making out with a steel worker.
Well, Mike got a moment on this show. So, but my point being is like, he starts out and he's like, I have these like prepared remarks. And then all of a sudden, 20 minutes in, we're getting an anecdote about him making out with like a random steel worker. And so I think it just like depends on his mood. Like he goes into whatever direction he feels like. And another thing that I'm going to be looking for, and we're going to talk to some of our early guests, is there's going to be people in the room that are going to set him off, right? Like the Supreme Court justices are always there right in the first row. And he said in that same press conference that some of them are only a little invited, that they really shouldn't be there, that he doesn't want them there. Then we also know our pal, well, not our pal, but Representative Ro Khanna will be bringing Epstein survivors. Representative Ilhan Omar will be bringing in people who've been impacted by ICE, specifically in
Yeah, and we
Minneapolis.
have Representative Lagar Fernandez here tonight, and she is also bringing an Epstein survivor.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And New Mexico has just reopened the investigation into the ranch that Jeffrey Epstein had. So we have her coming by later tonight. We can ask her a little bit about that. Because I'm like, oh, maybe that's how we're going to start actually seeing some of these things happen.
Yes.
Is like, you can't look away. They're doing it at the state level. Like that's, yeah.
Yeah, the state level. But I think in the room tonight, like I am really curious. Erica Kirk is going to be there. I'm curious if he's going to like be on his talking points and then look in the crowd and look at, Amy Coney Barrett and be like, you should be ashamed. Your family is so embarrassed. And then he's going to go on some sort of tangent. And I wonder, I think that's maybe part of some of the strategy for the Democrats. Like I could see a world where he gets distracted by what's happening in the room.
I think no matter what he does tonight, he will think it's a win.
Oh, without a doubt. People are saying.
Like everybody's going to think it's a win.
It's the best State of the Union ever given.
And I actually think, like, believe me, I don't want it to go well for him, but I think it could go really well for him tonight.
Say more. I'm curious what you think that means.
I think, if he leans into the topics where like the numbers show, there have been some improvements when it comes to affordability, or not affordability, but when it comes to the economy, when it comes to jobs, he'll be able to lean into those. He'll also be able to lean into immigration from the sense of like, he's said that no one has crossed the border illegally, like in like 8 months or something like that. And I'm like, I don't think he realizes that like there's more than one border than Mexico.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, that's what I was like, you don't think what, like, I think someone probably came in here by accident.
I think in Canada, they're just like, oh, oops.
Yeah.
Oops.
And I'm not saying that like, and the numbers are down,
Sure.
but he'll lean into that. And then, he was just meeting with the Angel families. Are you familiar with the Angel families?
No, tell me.
So the Angel families are families who lost loved ones to murder.
Oh, like Laken Riley style.
And yes, and it was done by, someone who might have been in this country undocumented. But like, that I think is going to be a big thing that he leans onto. I think we'll hear a lot of Lincoln Riley, which is like, it's absolutely horrible what happened to her.
Sure.
But like even today, listening to some of like the clips of it, like the way that they frame it is they're like, it's basically like the dangerous immigrants. And it's like, right. Actually, you could just say the dangerous men. And that would be
it's so funny. That was literally the next thing that was in my mind is like, what if we broaden this a little bit here? Yeah.
So I think he could make it a win for himself if he leans onto those points and he doesn't get like if he gets like Amy, if he gets like that, that's gonna go badly for him.
Well, and I think that's what the people around him always sort of say. They're like, stay on, and then he loses it. But I'm also, who I also caught my eye who's gonna be there tonight is Nick Shirley, the YouTuber.
Oh, that's the one who, remind me what he did.
Okay, so Nick Shirley is a YouTuber, journalist, independent journalist, and I say this with like very, very strong quotation marks. And he was going around Minneapolis looking for the Somali fraud. And he was going like unannounced into these daycares, and he really kicked off this, Somali fraud. By the way, Trump and the First Lady are on the way to the Capitol right now. So, I'm actually curious what Melania is going to wear, which we'll talk about in a second.
And that is
Nick Shirley. Yeah. So he kind of kicked off the Minneapolis thing. And then what I noticed is he's now in California, which made me think that like, the fraud narrative is coming to California next. But anyways, I'm sorry, Melania.
But like what fraud narrative will he target here, you think?
I think kind of the same thing. I think he's going to do, daycares, and I don't know, but I noticed right around the Super Bowl, which, happened in California, was happening. And I remember at the height of Minneapolis, Trump Truth Socials, the fraud in Minneapolis is terrible, but wait till you see what's happening in California. Stay tuned, in such a way that I was like, seems like and then suddenly Nick Shirley was there. But interesting to me that he's going to be at the State of the Union.
Wait till they find out that I just paid for the parking meter outside with a slug.
With a slug?
You remember slug? Do you know slugs?
No, what's a slug?
Anne's laughing. Slug, it's like it was like a fake coin. Like kids in like the 1920s would be like, I got a slug. It's like the little rascals.
I mean, but like, is that not better than cryptocurrency?
You know what? Honestly, at least it's tactile.
I also want to throw out our producer Anne is here in the studio with us. She's amazing, and she's throwing up fun facts at us. Mike Johnson will be using George Washington's gavel. He will be standing behind it. I'm sure it won't be a Nancy Pelosi moment where she like rips the speech and gives him one of these, but my favorite Hermie the elf will be holding the George Washington gavel.
Well, you know, it's interesting. I have been doing a little bit of research on the history of the State of the Union.
Tell me more.
And it used to be called the annual message.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. It used to be called the annual message. And one of the things that I read about it was Washington did the first one. And of course, like you couldn't address the nation, right? Like,
I was
going
to say, I actually want to ask you about this because we hear from Trump all the time.
I know.
So anyways, keep going. But
so they would, and they would go address, I don't know who exactly, like other, like probably
other white guys.
wealthy
Yeah,
landowners,
take
right?
a wild guess.
But he did it. And then Jefferson felt that it was too king-like. The speech itself was too king-like. And he wanted it reworked and all this kind of stuff. So anyway, I just think that is the idea of the George Washington gavel when we know that George Washington's speech is sort of, and then people were like, Jefferson's going too far. And it was like, whatever. You all enslaved people. Like, I'm not going to fucking take advice from any of you.
Chill out.
So anyway, I just thought that was, and also, you would never know the full State of the Union because there was like no way to access it. They would take excerpts of it and put it into newspapers.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that I wanted to ask our soon-to-be guest Sharon McMahon, who's a historian, is like, what's the difference now when we hear from Trump literally every day? I cannot not hear from Trump, and so what makes the State of the Union relevant when we hear from him all the time, as opposed to like even in the 80s, the 70s, when it was like one television station, we didn't hear from the president as much. And so when the president came and spoke to the people, it meant something in a way that it didn't anymore.
Well, you know what? We do hear from Trump a lot, but right now we're going to hear from Chair of the DNC, Chair Ken Martin. I'm really excited to talk to him.
Me too.
I have some questions for him. A question that I just came up with out there when I was looking over our spread of snacks. Sure. I hope he's got a snack spread going tonight because it's going to be a long night.
DNC Chair.
Hey guys. Hey, Rebecca and Meredith. Thanks for having me on.
Oh my God. It's an honor to have you on. We're so excited you're here. We have, first of all, we got to make sure you've got like snacks, right?
Oh, we got lots of snacks here. Most of them I can't eat because I'm always on a crazy diet, but everyone else is eating all the great snacks here. So that's good.
And what's the snow situation there? Are you like in drifts up to your nose or not?
There's no snow in DC, and it really pisses me off because you know what? I'm from Minnesota. That's where they get real snow up there. So I'm used to it. But, they canceled just the other day because they thought they were going to get a huge snowstorm here. They actually shut down the city, and it was just a dusting, a small little tiny inch, and they shut the whole damn city down. It's crazy. But you know what? I miss my home state of Minnesota. Of course, there's been a lot going on there, as you all know. But thank you for doing this tonight.
No, we're so excited. And, one of the things I was watching an interview you did recently, and one of the things you've talked about is taking the DNC out of DC, right? And so I guess for tonight, as you think about all of these other battleground states, local elections, that's something I've seen you've really been focusing on.
Yep.
What can happen tonight that can make this a win for the Democrats?
Yeah.
Well, what's going to happen tonight, unfortunately, is you're going to hear a bunch of lies and Donald Trump trying to gaslight the American people. I can almost assure you that he's going to say that he's built the greatest economy ever. And most Americans aren't feeling that. Most Americans are barely getting by right now. They're hoping to get ahead. And some of them actually put their faith in Donald Trump, and he didn't deliver on that, right? This is the worst economy we've seen in over 25 years. And as a result, as I said, people are struggling. But, let me talk about what I said and what I meant when I said get the DNC out of DC. When I ran for this position, it was really trying to change the way that the Democratic Party has been doing their work for years, which is an incessant focus on building federal power at the expense of state and local power. We can't ignore city council races, school board races, county board races, state legislative races, and other races around the country. We can't ignore certain parts of this country. In 2024, our party and all of the various actors within our party spent about $10 billion on the last election. Almost all of it went into 7 battleground states to help one candidate campaign at the expense of the rest of the great Democrats running up and down the ballot. We can't ignore local races anymore. Our own indifference, for instance, to school board races has allowed the conservative movement in this country to take over some of the biggest school districts in this country, where they're whitewashing our history, they're banning books, they're attacking our children. That's as much on them as it is on us, because we've ignored these races because they're nonpartisan. So when I say get the DNC out of DC, it's both literally, I've been in 37 states already in my first year on the job, and it's figuratively. It's changing the mindset of the crazy people in this town to realize that we have to organize our party from the grassroots and start having a long-term plan to build power around our agenda.
Do you think that this evening is an opportunity for Democrats to sort of change the narrative in front of an audience, with a big number of Democrats boycotting and other ones bringing in guests that sort of I don't want to say heckle, but like, fray at some of Trump's narratives? Like, do you think that's something that could affect people, how they see the Democrats tonight?
Well, look, I mean, I will say this. I don't begrudge the decisions by any Democratic member of Congress, whether they decide to show up in person or they decide to attend all the other counter programming that's happening here in DC tonight. The reality is, though, this is not normal times. This is not a time where you go in and you pay your respect, regardless of party, to a president. This president has shredded our Constitution in front of our eyes. He's, trampling on people's constitutional liberties and rights in this country. And this is not a time to go there and, sort of bow down to a king, especially when all we're going to hear from him is lie after lie tonight, him just spewing lies and trying to gaslight the American people. So, but let me say this. I do think what you'll hear from Governor Abigail Spanberger in the Democratic response, and Senator Alex Padilla in the Spanish language response, is a vision of what we stand for and how Democrats can actually improve your lives. Because you see Democratic governors like Abigail Spanberger and Mikey Sherrill and others. You see Democratic elected officials at the local level actually delivering on that promise, actually bringing down the cost, raising people's wages, creating safe communities, right? Making sure that we create inclusive spaces for people where folks aren't being shot and killed in the streets, as an example, right? The reality is what you're going to see is a positive vision for the future by Democrats tonight. And that's going to be a marked contrast to the bullshit that we see from Trump coming out of the Capitol.
Absolutely. Chair Martin, I think one of the things, I listened to a statistic earlier today that said, there's a lot of people who are disillusioned by Trump, but they're not necessarily running to the Democratic Party.
Right.
What is your proposal to them to come check out the Democrats, see what they're all about, right?
Well, I think that's exactly right. And I'm glad you say this, because I think this is the mistake we make sometimes, right? We saw over the last year, we had such a historic overperformance last year. We won election after election, as I mentioned. But the reality is that we also saw a huge swing away from Donald Trump. All the gains that he made in 24, the gains he made with Latino voters, with women voters, with Black voters, with working class voters, and independent voters, has all disappeared. But, and this is where you're absolutely spot on, it's not swinging our way, right? We got to go out and get it. We got to go out and have the conversations. We got to organize people, and we have to give them a sense of what we're going to do. Because if all we do is resist Donald Trump, guess what we're not doing? We're not giving them a sense of how their lives would look different if they put Democrats back in control. So we can't assume just because there's an anti-Trump backlash in this country that it's going to accrue to our benefit as Democrats. You're absolutely spot on. But here's the good news. Last year, it did. And why did it accrue to our benefit? Because our candidates, whether it was Abigail Spanberger or Zoran Mamdani or Mikey Sherrill or other candidates up and down the ballot throughout the country, they ran for something, not just against something. And if we do that, and it's a big if, but if we do that, we will win back many of those groups.
Well, Chair Martin, we're so grateful that you stopped by.
Yeah,
we
thank
hope
you so
you
much.
find, at least a healthy snack on that spread. We know you have a long night ahead.
We got
Thank
a
you
long night ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. I really
Thanks,
appreciate it.
Bye.
Take care.
I really appreciated his answer. I really appreciate the fact that when I said like, "Hey, you know, they're not moving to us."
Yeah.
He wasn't like, "Oh, actually they are."
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, no more gaslighting. No more
"Yeah,
gaslighting.
I
Yeah.
really appreciate that."
But we have our next guest in the room, Representative oh, so sorry.
Lagar Fernandez.
Lagar Fernandez. We're so excited to have her here. Do we have?
Yes, you do have.
Oh my
Hello,
goodness.
buenas tardes.
Hello.
¿Cómo estás? How are you all and everybody listening in?
We're so happy to have you. Thank you so much for joining us.
I am so sort of struck by the guests that you have joining tonight. And I was wondering if you could tell our viewers a little bit about the two women who you have, because you're allowed to have two people join you, right? I think that's what it is.
No, you're actually only allowed to have one person join you, but you're given one guest ticket. So I do want to thank Mary Gay Scanlon, because Mary Gay Scanlon said, I'm not going to go to the State of Union, and do you want my ticket? Because I am chair of the Democratic Women's Caucus, and the Democratic Women's Caucus has really been supporting the Epstein survivors. Because we think it is important that women lead in this moment as we look at how we're not safe in Trump's America. So one of my guests is Liz Stein, who is a survivor herself. And my second guest comes from my own district. So it's very interesting, right? A survivor, Epstein survivor. But then Carmen Pacheco Munoz is the CEO of La Casa Health Center, which is one of these rural health clinics that is going to be slammed because of the big, beautiful bill and the Republican cuts to healthcare. So those are my two guests, and I can talk about how they're connected as we continue on our conversation.
Yeah, I think that was like my next question was, how do you think tonight Trump will frame healthcare?
I think one of the ways he'll do it is by not speaking to it, right? Right? He will, he has a healthcare plan, or a concept of a
Concepts of a plan, right?
Concept of a plan. And that plan doesn't really address the fact that right now our healthcare system is broken. It's been broken for a while. I'm a Medicare for All girl because I represent a big rural district. And I know that that's where we need to get to. But right now, we have the system we have. And until we do the big restructuring, we cannot just say, well, we're going to cut Medicaid. So people like Carmen, who actually, she's the CEO now, but she showed up at La Casa when she was pregnant, because that's where she needed to go to be able to afford the care. So we need to be able to support the system that we have, and we can't be cutting Medicaid. We can't be cutting the tax credits for the Affordable Care Act. We can't be making it more expensive, which is what they want to do. And they want to say, oh, we don't want to give the money to insurance companies. Guess what? You're going to give the money to insurance companies.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. That's such a lie of theirs when they say that. So that's what he'll do.
The president just arrived at the Capitol, for those who are watching. And I'm curious, you're bringing an Epstein survivor into the room with him. What is the intention there? Do you think that it might rattle him? What is the visual that you're trying to put forward? What do you hope happens in the room there?
So there are about 15 Epstein survivors who will be in the gallery. And I think what's really important is that we need to think about the State of the Union as, it's not this, 90 minutes or 2 hours where he will go on and speak lie after lie after lie. It is an opportunity for other voices to be heard and to use this moment to call out his lies. And we have had several powerful events with the Epstein survivors today. We had a press conference, and they are willing to say, we are going to stand here in our power to show you we are not voiceless and we are not faceless. We are going to stand here to demand that this government address the injustice that we have suffered for decades.
Yeah.
And we have to remember the powerful and the rich who abused, used, and then thought they could discard these women. They include Democrats and Republicans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? They include both. And we need to hold them all accountable, because I need to tell you, the American people are sick and tired of the idea that the rich and powerful and
Yes.
the well connected
Yes.
do not have any accountability.
Yep. Yeah.
And
I think
that's
that's
what they're going to do tonight, is say, we are going to hold you accountable because we are sitting here while you speak. We are sitting here watching you, and we're going to call out the lies.
Yeah, the image of the survivors behind Pam Bondi when she wouldn't address them during her hearing, I found to be like historically powerful, and that's part of what I was thinking about going into this evening and seeing those women there.
Well, thank you so much. We see the justices have just walked in, so we want to make sure that you get to where you need to be.
Oh, I'm not going.
You're not going.
I'm not going. No. I am going to the People's State of the Union.
Oh my God, great.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
Yes.
good. Okay.
Well, we
Yeah,
hope to have
so-
you back
so-
on the show.
We already have representatives already
that's
booked. You're
right.
coming
You're
back
coming
on our
back on the
show. And we're going to talk about, I want to talk to you next time about the SAVE Act. I want to talk about the fact that the Zorro Ranch abuts your district.
Yes.
There's so
Not
much.
a but is in my district.
Is it?
And
Oh,
we've
I
got
will
so
say
much
though,
to discuss.
before we get to the SAVE Act, a lot of the women you'll see there is a lot of white on there. A lot of the women actually aren't showing up at the State of the Union, but we have worn white all day because we protested, marched, and starved to get this right to vote.
Yes.
And we're
Yes.
not going to let them take it away from us 102 years later, because women are not safe in Trump's America. We can't afford Trump's America, and we don't have health care in Trump's America. And we are going to use the power of the vote that they are not taking away from us. We are showing up, and we're going to vote them out of office in 2026.
We love it.
Well, we'll see you back here in a couple of weeks. Thank you so much,
Thank you so much,
Representative.
Representative.
Have a great
Adios.
night.
Muchísimas gracias. Bye-bye.
Good night. Oh my God, I forgot. We have her coming up. That is really exciting.
That's what Gelman just said.
Gelman.
Oh God, you don't get any of my references. Anne knows what Gelman is, the producer of Regis and Regis and Kathy Lee for years.
I'm
Listen,
sorry.
it's like,
I'm
Meredith,
Gen
did you
Alpha.
ever read a book? It's like, kids, you got to slug.
I'm Gen Alpha, so I don't know these references. I'm a baby.
You know what? I bet our next guest knows what a slug is. Yeah.
Well, and you know who definitely knows what a slug is? All the justices and Donald Trump who are shaking hands right now.
Do you think he's actually shaking their hands?
I think he probably is like dapping up Brett Kavanaugh. I
Well,
think he's
yeah.
like, my boy. And Barron Trump is in the building.
And Ivanka got a keratin treatment.
I want to. Have you seen Melania's outfit? You know my weak spot for Melania. And I think we have more friends in the building. Do we have who do we have up next? We've got
Just throw him up.
we've got
Oh my
Sharon
God, there she
McMahon!
is.
Sharon.
Hello.
Hello.
How's
Oh
it
my
going?
goodness. We are so excited that you're here. I feel like this is like a great thing to just kick it off with.
Yeah.
How is he going to treat the justices
Yeah.
tonight?
He will. My guess is that he'll shake their hand and that's it. First of all, not all of the justices go. It's usually like 3 to 4 of them. It's not usually all 9 of them. So it'll be interesting to see who arrives, because earlier this week, President Trump said, maybe I'm not going to invite them after all, after they ruled against him in his tariff ruling. So he's joking about that, or, whatever that means, joking.
Sure. Yeah.
But he might shake their hand. But you know what? Who knows? They're not all going to be there.
You've been to the State of the Union before,
Yeah.
which I just learned today.
Yeah. Yep. I've been there. I've been in the room. The previous representative was talking about how they get 1 ticket. I was invited by my representative.
Oh.
I've also been in the White House while the State of the Union was going on, and so seen it from the executive branch side, where you're watching from the White House itself. So I've
Interesting.
done it a couple of times, a couple of different ways. Yeah.
So something that I was thinking about that I wanted to ask you. I see Trump every single day, from the moment I wake up in the morning to the moment I go to sleep at night, like nonstop. So what makes the State of the Union still significant? Because it used to be like, this is the opportunity to see the president and know what's on their mind as they like sit and contemplate in their big office. What makes this relevant still?
That's a really great question, especially with the president who likes to tweet or likes to truth, where you're never left wondering what's on his mind, because he enjoys.
Not 1 second have I ever wondered.
Right. He enjoys sparring with the press. And so he's always looking for an opportunity to talk to the press. So, I mean, what the relevance is that, first of all, this is a tradition, something that it's mandated in the Constitution. Although for a long time, it did not involve the president actually physically arriving in the building and delivering a speech. It used to just be like, "Dear Congress, here's what I know. We owe $12 and we have $42." I mean, it literally just kind of used to be a letter. And then eventually, in the age of radio, it began to be on the radio. And then in the age of television, it started being televised, obviously. But one piece of the significance is just that it is all of the people in the building all at one time. Everybody is there listening to the same thing. He's speaking directly to the American people. So it's this gathering and the tradition that makes it relevant to some people.
I know sometimes, so we're watching as they're starting to come in, his cabinet is coming in. I love to listen and watch sort of like the spectacle of it, because I always think that they're doing a little bit of theater. You know,
Totally.
like I remember hearing Biden after his State of the Union do an off the cuff remark about like how tough he was getting with BB. And I was like, that was not a hot mic moment. That was, you know, like that was what type of theater are you looking for tonight?
Well, there's usually what happens is the president's supporters line the aisle where the president is going to walk in. And they have this sort of like moment that is bigger than a bride walking down the aisle, where the doors open and it's like, da, 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 and then they kind of slowly make their way down the aisle, high-fiving, shaking hands. Everybody's leaning down to try to touch the president. So there is this like, you saw Biden do this too, where you can tell they really savor the attention of all eyes on me. Like the whole world is watching. All of these people they love me so much and they want to shake my hand and touch me. That is absolutely part of the theater in which they really want to be viewed as adored. And I have no doubt that that's going to happen tonight.
No doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I guess like my question is like, is it just propaganda then?
The optics, is it just propaganda?
The whole thing, the whole State of the Union, is it just propaganda?
Yes, I mean, of course, it's the administration's propaganda. There's no objectivity to a State of the Union speech, even though we might think that there should be. It's written by the president's people, and it says exactly what the president wants it to say. And this is
no interruptions, no questions, Yep.
There will be interruptions where people stand up and clap.
Yeah.
And there will be boos. There's
You
no
think
question.
so?
Oh gosh, yes, 100% there will be boos. Where members of the Democratic Party, I have no doubt that they're going to boo. I have no doubt that they have signs. I have no doubt that they are going to try to disrupt the speech to draw attention to the Epstein survivors. They almost always do. They almost always do, and vice versa. They did it to Biden too.
Right. Oh, I remember. You're like one of, we get to do on the show where we're like, we bring in our smartest friends. You're one of our smartest friends. What are you looking for tonight? Like what, he always goes off the rails, but what are you listening for? What are the things you are looking for as you watch the State of the Union?
I think one of the things that I have question marks in my mind about is where his head is at with Iran.
Mm-hmm.
That is something that is still, he's still saying things in the press like, well, we'll see in the next 10 days what I'm going to do. And there's been reporting out from the Washington Post and other news outlets that have said things like, actually, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Dan Kane, doesn't think invading Iran or bombing Iran is a good idea. President Trump put up a long truth tonight or earlier today about that's not true at all. If we invade Iran, we're going to win. Like he really didn't like that report.
Yeah.
So it appears to me as though there is still internal conflict inside the administration about what the right move is on Iran. And I'm very curious about where the president's head is at with that.
He's trying to hold his America first base too. I'm curious how much of the speech will be about domestic policy versus international policy, because that doesn't seem to be what he was elected by his, by his base.
Well, and he hasn't really, I think this is broadly true. I think most Republicans would tell you this. He has not made a strong case to America about why we need to bomb Iran.
Yes.
No, yeah,
He hasn't. And
Yeah.
so he might use this as an opportunity to shore up
I
his
agree.
position on Iran,
I agree.
if that's where his head is at, of like make the case for why this regime is an existential threat to the world and why we must be the people to deal with it. He may choose to do that. We'll see.
How long do you think he's going to go for?
Long. He's going to
Reported on
talk
all
for
of it.
over an hour. Mhm.
Yeah.
Easily over an hour. And then with all of the stopping for the boos and the claps and like all of that. And then he's going to stop and recognize all of his guests. You know,
Erica
like
Kirk
there's,
will be there.
yep. So they have to have a moment for the claps for all of the guests.
Sure.
And so just that aspect of it eats up a pretty considerable amount of time. I would not be surprised at all if it trends towards 90 minutes.
Are you at all looking for, I remember Biden's last State of the Union.
Yeah.
I sort of held my breath because I was like, how old is this guy? Like, what's
Yeah.
going to happen here? And then he ended up like kind of knocking it out of the park.
Yeah, he did.
I believe somebody is coming in now.
I think,
He
yeah,
kinda knocked it out of the park.
he did.
And up here comes in Trump. I'm curious before we let you go, do you worry or are you looking for like signs of age? Do you think he's worried about signs of age or is he just like on,
No.
so much adrenaline?
No, I mean, regardless of your opinion about Trump's mental state, he is going to be hyped for tonight.
Right.
Yeah.
And his speaking style is rambly anyway, so that
Right.
will not read as unusual to the American people.
Yep.
Yeah. And if you already like him, like,
Totally.
normal
It's
to
just
you.
going to be his
Yeah.
greatest hits.
Right.
It's like the State of the Union is his greatest
Right.
hits,
Right.
know?
Right. And you can see as the president is coming in, you can see what's happening exactly as I said, where he's slowly making his way down the aisle, which is lined with his supporters, and he's hugging and shaking hands, and they're all trying to get a piece of him and get a picture with him.
This is his dream. This is
his
like what
moment.
he gets up in the morning thinking about. Something that I've noticed recently, I'm just throwing it out there. This is the first time I've seen him in a red tie for a long time. I've been wondering whether he was like trying to do maybe like something optically. He's doing a lot of purple and blue ties, but now he's back in the red tie. So maybe he was just like feeling
Blue suit, red tie is a pretty typical State of the Union attire.
for
Blue
all
suit,
across
red
the board or just for Republicans?
Yeah, blue suit, red tie is really, really normal State of the Union apparel.
What about tan suit?
What's that?
What about a tan suit?
No tan suits at the State of the Union, not allowed. You have to wear a navy suit. I mean, like, even if you don't wear a red tie, the suit has to be navy. That is how it works.
I mean, I'll say this. He looks as good of health as he can look.
Yeah,
I think
that's true.
His makeup, he likely had his makeup professionally done tonight. We know that he does his own makeup most days, but my guess is he probably had somebody help him with it. His hair looks extra coiffed and straight. So my guess is that he had professional glam this evening, which frankly most presidents do.
Of course, yeah. I mean, it's like,
could you blame them? I mean, I wish I had professional glam.
No, I would get professional glam if I were the president, no question.
Right?
Yeah.
One of the things that we have challenged ourselves to tonight, and we're not even going to challenge this to you because we know you do such great, sort of bipartisan content, but we've challenged ourselves to pick one thing that we agree with. And I will say this, as an avid self-tanner, his self-tan doesn't look as bad as it has.
There you go. You already found your one thing.
Yeah. He's looking like more believably tan.
Yes.
Sometimes.
That's right. I agree.
So
I believe that I saw 4 members of the Supreme Court. I might have missed one, but I saw Roberts, Kagan, Barrett, and Kavanaugh. And unless somebody was hiding behind somebody else,
that's a surprising combo to me. Before I was researching, the last time a president referenced the Supreme Court in front of them was Obama with the Citizens United decision, and he criticized that. And so I'm curious to see what he does. But it looks like he's taking his final bow before he gets up and addresses the nation. So
we'll get it started. Thank you so much, Sharon. Bye.
You.
Enjoy.
All right,
bye, Sharon.
Well, yeah,
I think it's happening.
It's happening. I'm dying to know how people are feeling in the chat.
Are we hearing the State of the Union? Anthony supports him. Anthony supports us. Anthony comes on our page quite a bit, and we really appreciate it.
Shake his hand. Shake his hand.
Shake his hand. And Nancy will not rip this one up. That's true. Can we hear? Can we hear the clapping inside? I can hear it coming from you, but I don't know if I can hear it coming from ours. Deanna, do we have sound? Well, Trump is enjoying this. That's for damn sure. He is loving this. And, you know, JD Vance is taking his moment. He loves to be in front of people. I'm curious to see. I haven't seen Erica Kirk yet in the audience. Oh.
I'm just trying to see if we're
getting sound.
The sound on the yeah. We're gonna figure it out. I can't hear anything. We're working on it. We're working on it. Actually, it's really crazy. They haven't made any noise. So,
well, I also want to shout out Vienna, our producer, is outside of Boston. She has been without power for many, many hours. Her house has been freezing cold. She trekked with her dog to her in-laws' house to produce this for you. And so, like, we got to give her lots of grace. We're working on it, friends.
We're going to have it going. I mean, listen, this is a manifestation of our country. Not everything works perfectly all the time.
I also think the question is whether or not we can't. He started speaking, but we can't hear it on our StreamYard. Yeah, I can hear it here, but we just can't hear it on the stream.
Wait, can we hear?
We can't hear it. She looks.
That's not coming from the TV at all.
Not. She looks. I mean,
look,
it's my guilty. Oh, listeners can hear.
Now someone's saying
I don't think they can't hear. I think our listeners can't hear. Diana, do we know what's going on? Oh, fantastic. As long as our pals can hear in the comments, hey, drop a comment if you can hear.
Our nation is back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before.
Immediately, he says the nation is bigger, stronger than ever before.
Centuries of liberty and triumph. Incredible and exceptional. When I last spoke in this chamber 12 months ago, I had just inherited a nation in crisis with a stagnant economy, inflation at record levels, a wide open border, horrendous recruitment for military and police, rampant crime at home, and wars and chaos all over the world. But tonight, after just 1 year, I can say with dignity and pride that we have achieved a transformation like no one has ever seen before, and a turnaround for the ages. It is indeed a turnaround for the ages. And we will never go back to where we were just a very short time ago. We're not going back. Today, our border is secure. Thank you. Today, our border is secure. Our spirit is restored. Inflation is plummeting. Incomes are rising fast. The roaring economy is roaring like never before. And our enemies are scared. Our military and police are stacked. And America is respected again, perhaps like never before.
It just like when people applaud on Zoom, we can't hear them when they
Oh.
applaud. Yeah.
After 4 years in which millions and millions of illegal aliens poured across our borders, totally unvetted and unchecked, we now have the strongest and most secure border in American history by far. In the past 9 months, 0 illegal aliens have been admitted to the United States. But we will always allow people to come in legally, people that will love our country and will work hard to maintain our country. The flow of deadly fentanyl across our border is down by a record 56% in 1 year. And last year, the murder rate saw its single largest decline in recorded history. This is the biggest decline, think of it, in recorded history, the lowest number in over 125 years, year 1900. In fact, substantially before my wonderful father, I had a wonderful father, Fred, before he was born, substantially before he was born. That's a long time ago. He wouldn't like me to say that, but that's a long time ago. The Biden administration and its allies in Congress gave us the worst inflation in the history of our country. But in 12 months, my administration has driven core inflation down to the lowest level in more than 5 years. And in the last 3 months of 2025, it was down to 1.7%. Gasoline, which reached a peak of over $6 a gallon in some states under my predecessor, it was quite honestly a disaster, is now below $2.30 a gallon in most states, and in some places, $1.99 a gallon. And when I visited the great state of Iowa just a few weeks ago, I even saw $1.85 a gallon for gasoline. Mortgage rates are the lowest in 4 years and falling fast, and the annual cost of a typical new mortgage is down almost $5,000 just since I took office. 1 year. And low interest rates will solve the Biden-created housing problem while at the same time protecting the values of those people who already own a house that really feel rich for the first time in their lives. We want to protect those values. We want to keep those values up. We're going to do both. And we are going to keep it that way. The stock market has set 53 all-time record highs since the election. Think of that, 1 year. Boosting pensions, 401ks, and retirement accounts for the millions and millions of Americans. They're all gaining. Everybody's up, way up. In 4 long years, the last administration got less than $1 trillion in new investment in the United States. And when I say less, substantially less. In 12 months, I secured commitments for more than $18 trillion pouring in from all over the globe. Think of it, much less than $1 trillion for 4 years versus much more than $18 trillion for 1 year. What a difference a president makes. A short time ago, we were a dead country. Now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world, the hottest. As thousands of new businesses are forming and factories, plants, and laboratories are being built, we have added 70,000 new construction jobs in just a very short period of time. It's getting bigger and bigger and stronger. Nobody can believe what they're watching. American oil production is up by more than 600,000 barrels a day, and we just received from our new friend and partner, Venezuela, more than 80 million barrels of oil. American natural gas production is at an all-time high because I kept my promise to drill, baby, drill. More Americans are working today than at any time in the history of our country. Think about that. Any time in the history of our country, more working today. And 100% of all jobs created under my administration have been in the private sector. We ended DEI in America. We cut a record number of job-killing regulations, and in 1 year, we have lifted 2.4 million Americans, a record, off of food stamps. And for all of these reasons, I say tonight, members of Congress, the state of our union is strong. Our country is winning again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it. People are asking me, please, 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 Mr. President, we're winning too much. We can't take it anymore. We're not used to winning in our country. Until you came along, we're just always losing, but now we're winning too much. And I say, no, 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 you're going to win again. You're going to win big. You're going to win bigger than ever. And to prove that point, here with us tonight is a group of winners who just made the entire nation proud. The men's gold medal Olympic hockey team. Come on in. Ladies. That's the first time I've ever seen them get up. And actually, not all of them did get up. But they beat a fantastic Canadian team in overtime, as everybody saw, as did the American women who will soon be coming to the White House. They were in the Oval Office before, and I just want to say a second very big congratulations to Team USA. But I have to say that, and I told them this, and we took a vote of the team. I said, anybody votes no, I'm not doing it. So they stood there, and they weren't about to say no, because I've never seen a goaltender play as well as goalie Connor Hellebuck. Think of it, 46 shots on goal, and I asked him, the one shot, the one where you put your stick in the back and it hit the neck of your stick and bounced off, do you practice that, or was that a little lucky? He refused to answer that question. But I just want to tell you that the members of this great hockey squad will be very happy to hear, based on their vote and my vote, and in this case my vote was more important, that I will soon be presenting Connor with our highest civilian honor, which we will be given and which has been given to many athletes over the years. But when I say many, not too many, like 12, it's called the highest civilian honor in our country, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Great athletes have gotten that, very great, the best, and I thought he deserved it. And I did take a vote, every single one of them. I said, I'm not giving it if anybody goes no, and every single one of them rapidly put up their hand. So I want to thank you all. What a special job you did. What special champions you are. Thank you very much. I'm also pleased to say that the next time the Olympic torch is lit, it will be here in America for the 2028 Olympics, and it's the summer version right in Los Angeles. We're going to do a good job in Los Angeles. And Los Angeles is going to be safe, just like Washington, D.C. is now one of the safest cities in the country. And this year, and I must say I got them both. I got them in my first term, And I was disappointed because I didn't think I'd be the president when this happened. But strange things took place. And now I've got them because I got the Olympics, I got the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and I wanted to claim the 250th, but I didn't get away with that one. I couldn't claim that one for myself. But we're getting the World Cup, so we have the World Cup and the Olympics coming, and that is exciting news. So this will be a year to celebrate our country and the heroes who have kept it free. Men like Buddy Taggart. At age 17, Buddy volunteered to defend America in World War II, serving in the Pacific under the great General Douglas MacArthur. He fought bravely in the famous Battle of Manila, worked so hard. He was badly wounded and almost killed by enemy machine guns in Luzon. And 81 years ago this month, he liberated the largest internment camp in the Philippines, one of the largest anywhere in the world. But he earned many honors, including a Purple Heart and a Bronze Star, came home, started a family, and tonight he is in the gallery looking forward to July 4th, 2026, his 100th birthday. So, Buddy, you're a brave man, and we salute you. Even in times of challenge, setback, and immense heartache, the spirit of 1776 has always shone through very brightly. It was July 4th of last year when floodwaters tore through a girls' summer camp in Central Texas, one of the worst things I've ever seen. I was there, rising 26 feet in the matter of minutes, tragically claiming many, many lives. You all remember that one. As the waters threatened to sweep her away, 11-year-old Millie Kate McClelland closed her eyes and prayed to God. She thought she was going to die. Those prayers were answered when Coast Guard rescue swimmer Scott Ruskin descended from a helicopter above. Nobody knew where he came from. It was Scott's first ever rescue mission, a young guy, but very brave, very, very top, always top in his class. And he lifted not just Millie Kate, but 164 others to safety. People watched Scott from a distance, and they couldn't believe what they were seeing. The winds were blowing, the rain was pouring, everything was going, and that rapid water, nobody's ever seen anything like it. They said, wow, that's something. Tonight, Scott and Millie Kate are here together, reunited for the very first time. Thank you, Scott, Millie Kate. And Petty Officer Ruskin, I'm pleased to inform you that I am now awarding you the Legion of Merit for extraordinary heroism, which is what it was, extraordinary heroism. Thank you. And I'd like to have the military aide to please come down and take care of the service. Military aid, thank you very much. Take care of that very important service. Thank you very much. From 1776 to today, every generation of Americans has stepped forward to defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And they're really doing it for the next generation. But now it's our turn. Together we're building a nation where every child has the chance to reach higher and go further, where government answers to the people, not the powerful, and where the interests of hardworking American citizens are always our first and ultimate concern. That is the debt we owe to the heroes who came before us, and that is the promise we must keep to America for our 250th year. Last year, I urged this Congress to begin the mission by passing the largest tax cuts in American history, and our Republican majorities delivered so beautifully. Thank you, Republicans. All Democrats, every single one of them, voted against these really important and very necessary massive tax cuts. They wanted large-scale tax increases to hurt the people instead. But we held strong, and with the great, big, beautiful bill, we gave you no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. And we also made interest on auto loans tax deductible the first time, but only if the car is made in America. Recently in Pennsylvania, I met Megan Hemhauser, a devoted mom who's homeschools her children, beautiful, 2 children, during the day while waiting tables at night as her husband works overtime operating very heavy equipment. Megan is here this evening, and she's happy to tell you that she is so much richer because with no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and our expanded child tax credit done again by Republicans, Megan and her husband will take home more than $5,000 extra just for the year, cutting her tax bill in more than half. Megan, please stand up. We're fighting for you, Megan. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Megan. We're fighting for you, Megan. Under our bill, parents like Megan can also activate their children's brand new Trump accounts. And I didn't name it. I did not name it. I did not name that. Nobody believes me, but I did not name it. It was named by a very tall man sitting right there in the 3rd row. Nice man, a good man. Tax-free investment accounts for every American child. This is something that's so special and has taken off and gone through the roof. Millions will be pre-funded courtesy of the U.S. Treasury and private individuals like Michael and Susan Dell, who have donated $6.25 billion to fund the Trump accounts for 25 million American children. They're great people. You know, I asked Michael Dell, how do you make all that money? He said, well, I just sat on my dorm in school and I made computers, and I'd sell them to people. And I just kept selling and selling and selling, and pretty amazing story. That's called the American Dream. He sold a lot of computers, a lot of those laptops, so I congratulate him on that, but I really thank him and Susan, as well as others like Brad Gerstner, a very tremendous guy. He was behind it right from the beginning. Brad Gerstner, thank you, Brad. So with modest additional contributions, these young people's accounts could grow to over $100,000 or more by the time they turn 18. Think of it, how much money is that for somebody that started with nothing? Over 100,000, could be much more than that. To make this investment in our children's future, go to trumpaccounts.gov, trumpaccounts.gov. And a lot of people are doing it. It's setting every record in the book. It's popular. They knew what it was going to take. I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of the people that got it started. And now it's just taken off. One of the primary reasons for our country's stunning economic turnaround, the biggest in history, where the Dow Jones broke 50,000 4 years ahead of schedule, and the S&P hit 7,000, where it wasn't supposed to do it for many years, were tariffs. I used these tariffs, took in hundreds of billions of dollars to make great deals for our country, both economically and on a national security basis. Everything was working well. Countries that were ripping us off for decades are now paying us hundreds of billions of dollars. They were ripping us so badly, you all know that. Everybody knows it. Even the Democrats know it. They just don't want to say it. And yet these countries are now happy, and so are we. We made deals. The deals are all done. And they're happy. They're not making money like they used to, but we're making a lot of money. There was no inflation, tremendous growth. And the big story was how Donald Trump called the economy correctly, and 22 Nobel Prize winners in economics didn't. They got it totally wrong. They got it really wrong. And then just 4 days ago, an unfortunate ruling from the United States Supreme Court. It just came down. It came down. Very unfortunate ruling. But the good news is that almost all countries and corporations want to keep the deal that they already made, right, Scott? Knowing that the legal power that I, as president, have to make a new deal could be far worse for them, and therefore they will continue to work along the same successful path that we had negotiated before the Supreme Court's unfortunate involvement. So despite the disappointing ruling, these powerful, country-saving, it's saving our country, the kind of money we're taking in, peace-protecting. Many of the wars I settled was because of the threat of tariffs. I wouldn't have been able to settle them with that. Will remain in place under fully approved and tested alternative legal statutes. And they have been tested for a long time. They're a little more complex, but they're actually probably better, leading to a solution that will be even stronger than before. Congressional action will not be necessary. It's already time-tested and approved. And as time goes by, I believe the tariffs paid for by foreign countries will, like in the past, substantially replace the modern-day system of income tax, taking a great financial burden off the people that I love. Right? Moving forward, factories, jobs, investment, and trillions of dollars will continue pouring into the United States of America because we finally have a president who puts America first. I put America first. I love America.
Third person.
For decades before I came along, we had the exact opposite. From trade to healthcare, from energy to immigration, everything was stolen and rigged in order to drain the wealth out of the productive, hardworking people who make our country great, who make our country run.
Yes.
Under
Yes.
Biden and his corrupt partners in Congress and beyond, it reached a breaking point with the Green New scam, open borders for everyone. They poured in by the millions and millions from prisons, from mental institutions. They were murderers, 11,888 murders. They came into our country. You allowed that to happen. And record-setting inflation that cost the typical family $34,000 in just a speck of time. Now the same people in this chamber who voted for those disasters suddenly use the word affordability, a word they just used it. Somebody gave it to them, knowing full well that they caused and created the increased prices that all of our citizens had to endure. You caused that problem. You caused that problem.
We're like an hour into this, and I still don't know what's going on.
I just know that we're giving hockey players new.
I have
They knew their statements were a lie. They knew. They knew their statements were a dirty, rotten lie. Their policies created the high prices. Our policies are rapidly ending them. We are doing really well. Those prices are plummeting downward. The price of eggs is down 60%, Madam Secretary. Thank you. The cost of chicken, butter, fruit, hotels, automobiles, rent is lower today than when I took office by a lot. And even beef, which was very high, is starting to come down significantly. Just hold on a little while. We're getting it down. And soon you will see numbers that few people would think were possible to achieve just a short time ago. Nobody can believe when they see the kind of numbers, and especially energy, when they see energy going down to numbers like that, they cannot believe it. It's like another big tax cut. I'm also confronting one of the biggest ripoffs of our times, the crushing cost of health care.
Sorry again?
Caused by you.
Yes.
Since the passage of the Unaffordable Act, sometimes referred to as Obamacare, big insurance companies have gotten rich. It was meant for the insurance companies, not for the people. With our government giving them hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars a year as their stock prices soared 1,000, 1,200, 1,400, and even 1,700%, like nothing else. That's why I introduced the great health care plan. I want to stop all payments to big insurance companies and instead give that money directly to the people so they can buy their own health care, which will be better health care at a much lower cost. In addition, my plan requires maximum price transparency. That's a big deal. Sounds so simple, so big. And I did that in my first term, and the Democrats immediately terminated it with full knowledge that they were doing a very bad thing for the people. Costs were going to go way up, and that's what happened, and now I'm bringing them way down on health care and everything else. I'm also ending the wildly inflated cost of prescription drugs like has never happened before. Other presidents tried to do it, but they never could. They tried. Most didn't try, actually. But they tried. They said they tried. They couldn't do it. They didn't even come close. They were all talk and no action, but I got it done. Under my just enacted most favored nation agreements, Americans who have for decades paid by far the highest prices of any nation anywhere in the world for prescription drugs will now pay the lowest price anywhere in the world for drugs. Anywhere, the lowest price. So in my first year of the second term, Should be my third term. But strange things happen. I took prescription drugs, a very big part of healthcare, from the highest price in the entire world to the lowest. That's a big achievement. The result is price differences of 300, 400, 500, 600% and more, all available right now at a new website called TrumpRx.gov. And I didn't name that one either, by the way. And here tonight is the very first customer ever to get that big discount, and it is big, Catherine Rayner. For 5 years, she and her husband have struggled with infertility, and they turned to IVF. One drug has been costing Catherine $4,000 to purchase. But a few weeks ago, she logged onto the TrumpRx website and got that same drug that cost $4,000, got it for under $500, a reduction of much more, actually, than $3,500. Catherine, we are all praying for you, and you're going to be a great mom. So now I'm calling on Congress to codify my most favored nation program into law. Now, the one thing, I'm not sure it matters because it's going to be very hard for somebody that comes along after me to say, let's raise drug prices by 700 or 800%. But John and Mike, if you don't mind, codify it anyway. They may do it. Codify it anyway. Thank you. Many Americans are also concerned that energy demand from AI data centers could unfairly drive up their electric utility bills. Tonight, I'm pleased to announce that I have negotiated the new Ratepayer Protection Pledge. You know what that is? We're telling the major tech companies that they have the obligation to provide for their own power needs. They can build their own power plants as part of their factory so that no one's prices will go up. And in many cases, prices of electricity will go down for the community, and very substantially down. This is a unique strategy never used in this country before. We have an old grid. It could never handle the kind of numbers, the amount of electricity that's needed. So I'm telling them they can build their own plant. They're going to produce their own electricity. It will ensure the company's ability to get electricity while at the same time lowering prices of electricity for you, and could be very substantial for all of you cities and towns. You're going to see some good things happen over the next number of years. Another pillar of the American dream that has been under attack is home ownership. With us tonight is Rachel Wiggins, a mom of two from Houston. She placed bids on 20 homes and lost all of those bids to gigantic investment firms that bypassed inspection, paid all cash, and turned those houses into rentals, stealing away her American dream. She was devastated. Stories like this are why last month I signed executive order to ban large Wall Street investment firms from buying up in the thousands single-family homes. And now I'm asking Congress to make that ban permanent, because homes for people, really, that's what we want. We want homes for people, not for corporations. Corporations are doing just fine. Rachel, thank you very much. Good luck with your home. You'll get one soon. We're also working to make it easier for Americans to save for retirement. And under this administration, we will always protect Social Security and Medicare. They are not protecting it for our seniors. We will always protect Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. Since I took office, the typical 401k balance is up by at least $30,000. That's a lot of money. We have millions and millions of people, because the stock market has done so well, setting all those records, Your 401ks are way up. Yet half of all of working Americans still do not have access to a retirement plan with matching contributions from an employer. To remedy this gross disparity, I'm announcing that next year my administration will give these often forgotten American workers, great people, the people that built our country, access to the same type of retirement plan offered to every federal worker. We will match your contribution with up to $1,000 each year. As we ensure that all Americans can profit from a rising stock market, let's also ensure that members of Congress cannot corruptly profit from using insider information. They stood up for that. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Did Nancy Pelosi stand up if she's here? Doubt it. Pass the Stop Insider Trading Act without delay. I wasn't sure if anybody even on this side was going to applaud for that. I'm very impressed. Thank you. I'm very impressed. But when it comes to the corruption that is plundering, it's plundering America. There's been no more stunning example than Minnesota, where members of the Somali community have pillaged an estimated $19 billion from the American taxpayer. Oh, we have all the information. And in actuality, the number is much higher than that. And California, Massachusetts, Maine, and many other states are even worse. This is the kind of corruption that shreds the fabric of a nation, and we are working on it like you wouldn't believe. So tonight, although started 4 months ago, I am officially announcing the war on fraud to be led by our great Vice President, J.D. Vance. He'll get it done. If we're able to find enough of that fraud, we will actually have a balanced budget overnight. It'll go very quickly. That's the kind of money you're talking about. We'll balance our budget. The Somali pirates who ransacked Minnesota remind us that there are large parts of the world where corruption and lawlessness are the norm, not the exception. Importing these cultures through unrestricted immigration and open borders brings those problems right here to the USA. And it is the American people who pay the price in higher medical bills, car insurance rates, rent, taxes, and perhaps most importantly, crime. We will take care of this problem. We're going to take care of this problem. We are not playing games. Delilah. Delilah Coleman was only 5 years old in June 2024 when a 18-wheel tractor trailer plowed into her stopped car traveling at 60 miles an hour or more. The driver was an illegal alien let in by Joe Biden and given a commercial driver's license by open borders politicians in California. Doctors said Delilah would never be able to walk or talk, have a good life. She wouldn't even be able to eat again. But against all odds, she is now in the first grade learning to walk. And she's here this evening with her dad, Marcus, a fantastic man. Delilah, please, you are a great inspiration. Please stand up. Thank you, Delilah. Many, if not most, illegal aliens do not speak English and cannot read even the most basic road signs as to direction, speed, danger, or location. That's why tonight I'm calling on Congress to pass what we will call the Delilah Law, barring any state from granting commercial driver's licenses to illegal aliens. And yesterday, as you probably saw at the White House, I hosted a ceremony with Americans who lost their treasured loved ones to the scourge of illegal immigration. People came into our country, how we allowed this to happen with our open borders. These are the angel moms and families that for decades our government betrayed and our media totally ignored. It was terrible. Hard to believe, actually. In 2023, a 16-year-old high school cheerleader named Elizabeth Medina was supposed to perform in her town's Christmas parade, but she never arrived. Her mother, Jacqueline, went home to look for her, and she found her lying dead in a bathtub, bleeding profusely after being stabbed 25 times. Elizabeth's killer was a previously arrested illegal alien who had broken in and brutally extinguished the brightest light in her family's life, violently and viciously. Her heartbroken mother is in the gallery to remind everyone in this chamber exactly why we are deporting illegal alien criminals to our country at record numbers, and we're getting them the hell out of here fast. We don't want them. Thank you very much, Jacqueline. Thank you. We can never forget that many in this room not only allowed the border invasion to happen before I got involved, but indeed they would do it all over again if they ever had the chance. If they ever got elected, they would open up those borders to some of the worst criminals anywhere in the world. The only thing standing between Americans and a wide open border right now is President Donald J. Trump and our great Republican patriots in Congress. Thank you. Thank you. As we speak, Democrats in this chamber have cut off all funding for the Department of Homeland Security. It's all cut off. It's all cut off. They have instituted another Democrat shutdown, the first one costing us 2 points on GDP. 2 points we lost on GDP, which probably made them quite happy, actually. Now they have closed the agency responsible for protecting Americans from terrorists and murderers. Tonight I'm demanding the full and immediate restoration of all funding for the border security, Homeland Security of the United States, and also for helping people clean up their snow. We have no money because of the Democrats, and it would be nice. We'd love to give you a hand at cleaning it up, but you gave no money. Nobody's getting paid. It's a shame. So you have to think about it. We have, in case you didn't know, a pretty large snowstorm out there. One of the great things about the State of the Union is how it gives Americans the chance to see clearly what their representatives really believe. So tonight I'm inviting every legislator to join with my administration in reaffirming a fundamental principle. If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support.
If you're glad that we're back, stand up and show your support.
Woo! Look at all those Republicans who are so happy we're back.
Well, I know, right?
They're so happy.
You guys, I know
you.
we miss you, and I know I've been seeing in the TikTok a lot of people are saying we can't hear you, and we know we're not doing commentary. Oh, I'm hearing there's an echo. We are not doing commentary during the State of the Union. We're going to do it afterwards. If you were here earlier, we were joined by some lawmakers, the chair of the DNC, et cetera. Sharon says so, but we're going to be back with some more guests in a little bit. But we do want to keep watching this. It's still going on. In theory, like it
And we're
should have
drinking
ended.
our energy
Oh my God,
drinks.
yeah, we have energy drinks because it really is not stopping. We have Georgie and we have Lucky Energy. Yeah, I'm so excited.
Ooh, that is good. That is good. I'm gonna be up all night, but I guess. Do you think this is what Trump is drinking? This is a horrible State of the Union. It's meandering. Okay, what have you gotten from this so far? I got that eggs have gone down 60%, which I guess the price of eggs. Remember, that's why he was elected in the first place. What you've been taking diligent notes, baby.
Yeah.
Brad.
There's one thing that he said that I really agree with. He said we're the hottest country in the world.
We are the hottest.
You guys
country.
are so hot.
We are so hot.
Well, honestly, like my favorite part so far came at the very beginning, when he talked about my new character unlocked, Baby Fred Sr. He was like 1912. Before, like when my father was born.
He was like setting up the great American novel.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He was like, we're going to go back a generation or two so that we can really get the character development going here.
It was like, and he was like, my dad was
Baby
just
Fred.
a baby. I did actually Google image Fred Trump
Baby
Sr.
Fred.
as a baby, and I don't think that man was ever a baby.
Yeah, I don't
that
think so either.
But anyway, here's a couple of the things that I thought. First of all, he says that not one person has crossed the border illegally in the last 9 months, which I just am like, he thinks he doesn't realize that there's a border that's not Mexico.
Yes, for sure. He has no concept. Do you remember the wall that he was supposed to build? And that everybody just forgot. Every once in a while, I'm like, oh yeah, remember build that wall?
Right. And so there's that. The other thing that he said that I thought was kind of interesting is, or not interesting, but he's 100% of the jobs that have been created have been in the private sector, which like as a child of a public service, I'm just like, yeah, that's not something to fucking brag about. Like, that's not great. You guys have hired more cryptocurrency salesmen. Like, that's not good.
Well, the whole first half of the speech was basically an award ceremony. Like he brought in the Olympic team. By the way, he also, I feel like, was doing some cleanup. He was like, and by the way, we're inviting the women's hockey team. Like he distinctly saw your video criticizing him for,
He's a big fan of my content.
He's a big fan. But yeah, he was giving out I thought for a second we were gonna have like a full-blown medal ceremony right in the middle of this thing.
I'm doing both the energy drinks.
Pass the save. Ooh, can we listen in on this? Okay, he wants to talk about the Save Act.
So you guys, we're gonna go quiet again. So just try not to miss us too much.
All voters must show proof of citizenship in order to vote. And no more crooked mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. None. And this should be an easy one. And by the way, it's polling at 89%, including Democrats, 89%. And even the new communist mayor of New York City, I think he's a nice guy, actually. Speak to him a lot. Bad policy, but nice guy. Just said they want people to shovel snow. They got hit hard. Wants them to shovel snow, but if you apply for that job, you need to show 2 original forms of ID and a Social Security card. Yet they don't want identification for the greatest privilege of them all, voting in America. No, it's no good. No good. Both Republicans and Democrats overwhelmingly agree on the policy that we just enunciated. And Congress should unite and enact this common sense, country-saving legislation right now, and it should be before anything else happens. And the reason they don't want to do it, why would anybody not want voter ID? One reason, because they want to cheat. There's only one reason. They make up all excuses. They say it's racist. They come up with things you almost say, what imagination they have. They want to cheat. They have cheated. And their policy is so bad that the only way they can get elected is to cheat. And we're going to stop it. We have to stop it, John. And here is one more opportunity to show common sense in government. In the gallery tonight are Sage Blair and her mother, Michelle. In 2021, Sage was 14 when school officials in Virginia sought to socially transition her to a new gender, treating her as a boy and hiding it from her parents. Hard to believe, isn't it? Before long, a confused Sage ran away from home after she was found in a horrific situation in Maryland. A left-wing judge refused to return Sage to her parents because they did not immediately state that their daughter was their son. Sage was thrown into an all-boys state home and suffered terribly for a long time. But today, all of that is behind them because Sage is a proud and wonderful young woman with a full-ride scholarship to Liberty University. Sage and Michelle, please stand up. And thank you for your great bravery. And who can believe that we're even speaking about things like this? 15 years ago, if somebody was up here and said that, they'd say, what's wrong with him? But now we have to say it because it's going on all over numerous states without even telling the parents. But surely we can all agree no state can be allowed to rip children from their parents' arms and transition them to a new gender against the parents' will. Who would believe that we're even talking about this? We must ban it, and we must ban it immediately. Look, nobody stands up. These people are crazy, I'm telling you. They're crazy. Amazing, incredible. Boy, oh boy. We're lucky we have a country. With people like this, Democrats are destroying our country, but we've stopped it just in the nick of time, didn't we? Huh? No one cares more about protecting America's youth than our wonderful First Lady, now a movie star. She's a movie star. Can you believe it? Who would have believed that? Over the past year, she has had an incredible impact championing AI legislation, advancing a landmark executive order on foster care, and helping secure $30 million to launch the Melania Trump Foster Youth to Independence Initiative. It's a tremendous, really a tremendous thing that happened and had a lot of bipartisan support. She gets much better bipartisan support than I do. I get none. She gets a lot. Someday you're going to have to tell me how you did that. And students and educators in every state have joined the First Lady's efforts in the presidential AI challenge, keeping America's next generation positioned to succeed and strongly succeed in the future. Tonight, we welcome two young people whose lives reflect the First Lady's impact, Sierra Burns and Everest Nevermont. Thank you both, and Melania, thank you. I know how hard you worked on it. Thank you very much. I'm very proud to say that during my time in office, both the first 4 years and in particular this last year, there has been a tremendous renewal in religion, faith, Christianity, and belief in God. Tremendous renewal. This is especially true among young people, and a big part of that had to do with my great friend, Charlie Kirk, a great guy, great man. So last year, Charlie was violently murdered by an assassin and martyred, really martyred for his beliefs. His wonderful wife, Erica, is with us tonight. Erica, please stand. Thank you, Erica. Been through a lot. In Charlie's memory, we must all come together to reaffirm that America is one nation under God, and we must totally reject political violence of any kind. We love religion, and we love bringing it back, and it's coming back at levels that nobody actually thought possible. It's really a beautiful thing to see. Above all, unleashing America's promise requires keeping our communities safe. We have made incredible strides, yet dangerous repeat offenders continue to be released by pro-crime Democrat politicians again and again. We are honored to be joined tonight by a woman who's been through hell, Anya Zarutska. In 2022, she and her beautiful daughter, so beautiful, what a beautiful young woman, Irina, fled war-torn Ukraine to live with relatives near Charlotte, North Carolina. And by the way, what's going on with Charlotte? Last summer, 23-year-old Irina was riding home on the train when a deranged monster who had been arrested over a dozen times and was released through no cash bail, stood up and viciously slashed a knife through her neck and body. No one will ever forget, there were people on that train. No one will ever forget the expression of terror on Irina's face as she looked up at her attacker in the last seconds of her life. She died instantly. She had escaped a brutal war only to be slain by a hardened criminal, set free to kill in America, came in through open borders. Mrs. Zarutska, tonight I promise you we will ensure justice for your magnificent daughter, Irina. How do you not stand? How do you not stand? I'm asking this Congress to pass tough legislation to ensure that violent and dangerous repeat offenders are put behind bars, and importantly, that they stay there. Starting last summer, I deployed our National Guard and federal law enforcement to restore law and order to our most dangerous cities, including Memphis, Tennessee, big success, New Orleans, Louisiana, big success, and our nation's capital itself, Washington, D.C., where we have almost no crime anymore in Washington, D.C. How did that happen? In fact, crime in Washington is now at the lowest level ever recorded, and murders in D.C. this January were down close to 100% from a year ago. They don't like to hear that. One of sick people, one of the brave service members who helped achieve this stunning turnaround was 20-year-old West Virginia Army National Guard Specialist Sarah Beckstrom. After a 4-month deployment, she voluntarily extended her service, and her rank was going to be lifted. She was doing so well. They were so proud of her. But the very next day, she was on patrol near the White House when she was ambushed and shot in the head by a terrorist monster from Afghanistan. Shouldn't have been in our country. And all because she wore the uniform of our nation, she was shot. He traveled here because he didn't like people wearing our uniform. He was sick and deranged, shouldn't have been in our country. Sarah Beckstrom died in order to defend our capital, and we are honored to be joined by her wonderful parents, Gary and Eva Lee. Your daughter was a true American patriot, and she will be greatly missed. She was a great person. I saw reports on her. They've never seen anything like it. So sorry. Thank you very much. She's a great young lady. I saw reports that were like, perfect. She was perfect. Serving alongside Sarah that day was Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf. The terrorist shot Andrew in the head, and no one thought he could possibly make it. The two of them, Sarah and Andrew, both shot violently in the head. Neither was expected to make it. They weren't even given a chance, except his wonderful mother, named Melody, who I spoke to the same night, and she was so positive. The doctors thought that Andrew was gone, but his mother said, no, Mr. President, Andrew will be fine. He's going to make it. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, he was given almost no chance. She said, I have no doubt, sir, he's going to be okay. This was a conversation that I had with her that night, with her son laying helplessly in bed, blood all over. Everybody is praying, she said, sir, he will be okay. The doctors didn't understand what she was saying, and after looking at the results of the damage done, neither did I. She was so strong and conclusive that even Andrew's great father felt she didn't really understand the gravity of the situation. But she turned out to be right. Right, Melody? She turned out to be right. Amazing, actually. I said, where does this woman come from? She's the most positive person I've ever met. With God's help, Andrew has battled back from the edge of death, and we're talking about the edge of death, on his way to a miraculous recovery. He's got a little work to do, but he's doing great. Nice to see you. He's a good-looking guy. Nice to see you. Thanks, Andrew. Thank you very much. So, Andrew, while you're up, now I'm going to ask a highly respected General James Seward to present Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf and the great family of Sarah Beckstrom with the award created by our late great President George Washington himself. It's called the Purple Heart. We love you all. Love you. We're proudly restoring safety for Americans at home, and we are also restoring security for Americans abroad. Our country has never been stronger. In my first 10 months, I ended 8 wars, including Cambodia. Isn't it funny? Sick people. Cambodia and Thailand, Pakistan and India. Would have been a nuclear war. 35 million people, said the Prime Minister of Pakistan, would have died if it were not for my involvement. Kosovo and Serbia, Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia, Armenia and Azerbaijan, the Congo and Rwanda, and of course the war in Gaza, which proceeds at a very low level. It's just about there. And I want to thank Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner for your help. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Jared. And I also want to thank the man they report to, Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Thank you, Marco. People like you. You know, Marco got 100% of the votes when he was in confirmation. I think our next one was about 54%. And some of the Democrats are now saying, I can't believe we approved that guy. And he said it's an honor that they feel that way, right, Marco? You have done a great job, great Secretary of State. I think he'll go down as the best ever. Under the ceasefire I negotiated, every single hostage, both living and dead, has been returned home. Can you believe that? Nobody thought it was possible. Nobody thought that was possible. Both living and dead. And those parents who had a dead son, their boy, they'd always tell me their boy, they wanted him as much as though he were living. It was an amazing period of time. And they came back, and when we got all of the living hostages back, and many, many before them, but I always said those last 20 are going to be very tough, but we got many, many more, hundreds. But I said those last 20 are going to be tough. We got them back. But we only got back 14 or 15 of the dead of the 28. And believe it or not, Hamas worked along with Israel, and they dug and they dug and they dug. It's a tough thing to do, going through bodies all over, passing up 100 bodies sometimes for each one that they found. Tough job. And they finally got it back to 27. And then Steve and Jared, they got it back to 28. They found all 28. Nobody thought that was possible, but we did it. And I remember the family of the 28th. They were so grieved, but they were so happy as it's possible to be. They had their boy back. The mother said, "Sir, we have our boy back." What a period of time that was, but we got them all back. So thank you both very much. Great job. And we're working very hard to end the 9th war, the killing and slaughter between Russia and Ukraine, where 25,000 soldiers are dying each and every month. Think of that, 25,000 soldiers are dying a month. A war which would have never happened if I were president, would have never happened. As president, I will make peace wherever I can, but I will never hesitate to confront threats to America wherever we must. That's why in a breakthrough operation last June, the United States military obliterated Iran's nuclear weapons program with an attack on Iranian soil known as Operation Midnight Hammer. Good. For decades, it had been the policy of the United States never to allow Iran to obtain a nuclear weapon. Many decades. Since they seized control of that proud nation 47 years ago, the regime and its murderous proxies have spread nothing but terrorism and death and hate. They've killed and maimed thousands of American service members and hundreds of thousands and even millions of people with what's called roadside bombs. They were the kings of the roadside bomb. And we took out Soleimani. I did that during my first term. Had a huge impact. He was the father of the roadside bomb. And just over the last couple of months with the protests, they've killed at least, it looks like, 32,000 protesters. 32,000 protesters in their own country. They shot them and hung them. We stopped them from hanging a lot of them with the threat of serious violence. But this is some terrible people. They've already developed missiles that can threaten Europe and our bases overseas, and they're working to build missiles that will soon reach the United States of America. After Midnight Hammer, they were warned to make no future attempts to rebuild their weapons program, and in particular, nuclear weapons. Yet they continue. They're starting it all over. We wiped it out, and they want to start all over again, and are at this moment again pursuing their sinister ambitions. We are in negotiations with them. They want to make a deal, but we haven't heard those secret words. We will never have a nuclear weapon. My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy. But one thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon. Can't let that happen. And no nation should ever doubt America's resolve. We have the most powerful military on earth. I rebuilt the military in my first term. We're going to continue to do so. Also, we just approved a $1 trillion budget. We have no choice. We have to be strong, because hopefully we will seldom have to use this great power that we built together. It's really called peace through strength, and it's been very, very effective. So thanks to Republican in Congress. We're investing that record number of dollars, have no choice, in the United States Armed Forces. Also creating a lot of jobs, but we're not even doing it for that reason. Because as I said, we have more jobs, more people working today than ever before in the history of our country. And NATO countries are friends and allies. They are. They're our friends and they're our allies. Have just agreed, at my very strong request, to pay 5% of GDP for military defense rather than the 2%, which they weren't paying. We were paying for almost all of NATO. Now they're paying 5 as opposed to not paying 2. And getting that 5% was something which everyone said would never be done, could not happen. We got it really easily with one meeting. And big difference between 2% that's not paid. We were paying the freight of many of them. Very few were paid up. Now 5%, then they're paid. And everything we send over to Ukraine is sent through NATO, and they pay us in full. They pay us totally in full. Every branch of our armed forces is setting records for recruitment. This is so exciting. And every service member recently. And every service member recently received a warrior dividend of $1,776. You know, they put it on my desk. We got the money from tariffs and other things, a lot of money we have. We have much more money than people understand. Have to rebuild that program a little bit, but it won't take long. But we got the money, and it was $1,775, and they wanted my approval. And I said, what's the number? $1,775. I said, wait a minute. For one more dollar, we can have $1,776. It's going to I said, we're going to figure that. I never asked anybody if we could afford it. One more dollar, I said $1,776. And I said, that's good. And I'll tell you what, our military, that was 4 months ago, our military, I never see a person in the military that doesn't thank me for it. So we're honored to do it. They deserve it. And we call it 1776. It was great. And we love our military. We love our law enforcement. We love our firemen. You know, the firemen don't get mentioned enough. We love our firemen. We're also restoring American security and dominance in the Western Hemisphere, acting to secure our national interests and defend our country from violence, drugs, terrorism, and foreign interference. For years, large swaths of territory in our region, including large parts of Mexico, really large parts of Mexico, have been controlled by murderous drug cartels. That's why I designated these cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, and I declared illicit fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. And with our new military campaign, we have stopped record amounts of drugs coming into our country and virtually stopped it completely coming in by water or sea. You probably noticed that. We very seriously damaged their fishing industry also. Nobody wants to go fishing anymore. We've also taken down one of the most sinister cartel kingpins of all. You saw that yesterday. In January, elite American warriors carried out one of the most complex, spectacular feats of military competence and power in world history. No one's seen anything like it. Foreign leaders, I won't tell you who, called me and they said, very impressive, very impressive. They couldn't believe, they all watched. They saw what happened. This is a different fighting force that we had years ago when we fought to tie. You know, it's a great fighting force. I'm so proud of it. Look at Space Force. Space Force is my baby because we did that. My baby. It's becoming so important. And America's armed forces overwhelmed all defenses and utterly defeated an enemy, good fighters, to end the reign of outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro and bring him to face American justice. And this was an absolutely colossal victory for the security of the United States, and it also opens up a bright new beginning for the people of Venezuela. We're working closely with the new president of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez, to unleash extraordinary economic gains for both of our countries and to bring new hope to those who have suffered so terribly. They really did suffer. With us tonight is Alejandro Gonzalez. She grew up in a tight-knit Venezuelan family and was especially close to her beloved uncle Enrique. But after Enrique ran for office and opposed Maduro, he was kidnapped by Maduro's security forces and thrown into the regime's really infamous prison in Caracas. Alejandro feared she would never see her uncle again. She feared for her own life also. But since the raid, we have worked with the new leadership, and they have ordered the closure of that vile prison and released hundreds of political prisoners already, with more to come. Alejandro, I'm pleased to inform you that not only has your uncle been released, but he is here tonight. We brought him over to celebrate his freedom with you in person. Enrique, please come down. Thank you, Enrique. Have a good time. Nice to have you back, Enrique. There were many heroes on that January raid to capture Maduro, really great heroes. It was very dangerous. They knew we were coming. They were all set. But the deeds of one warrior that night will live forever in the eternal chronicles of military valor. Chief Warrant Officer 5, Eric Slover, planned the mission and was the flight lead in the cockpit of the first helicopter, a big, beautiful, powerful helicopter. It was a massive Chinook carrying, as you can imagine, many, many American warfighters. Wearing the dog tags his wife Amy had blessed with holy water before he left. She knew it was going to be a rough one. Eric steered the Chinook under the cover of night.
Happen.
Well, we called it. He's going on and on. He's just now getting into sort of the foreign policy of it all. But even, I kept on waiting to hear him say what was going to happen with Iran because we're all sort of like waiting on bated breath. And I don't think we actually got an answer. He's, I guess to be fair, the State of the Union is their opportunity to do like a little bit of a victory lap. And that's what he's doing here. But I don't know that we got much of anything. There was somewhere in the middle there, though, where it started to get spicy.
I know. I was kind of loving it. Were
Oh.
you excited? I was like, Jerry.
Also, like the moment where he just now where he was like, and we have your long lost uncle here with us tonight. Have a good time, Enrique. Like, he is good at the showmanship, unfortunately.
You know what, though?
Tell
I'll
me.
tell you what. You're not going to believe it. waiting in the wings, I have a huge surprise for
A
you.
huge surprise.
Yeah, you're not going to believe who's coming up on stage. They'll be here any second now. It's
Lindsey Graham?
a
Melania?
way better gay icon than Lindsey Graham.
Yeah, that's so true. A better gay icon than Lindsey Graham.
They're going to be up any second now. I can't wait.
Is it the twink who got caught with the sex tape in Congress?
I'm not that
My
fast.
personal
Yeah,
hero?
right. So when this person comes up, I have a bunch of questions that I want to ask them. But I was thinking about what you were saying with like, was there any foreign policy stuff that you were like, oh, okay, yes, he's talking about that, and that makes sense, and that's what I was expecting?
I mean, like the thing that I was sort of expecting, and like maybe he'll do it still, is I kind of was waiting for him to be like, and we're going to war with Iran. Which he hasn't done. So I don't, like it's a lot about the victory lap. I haven't really heard him talk about the board of peace, but I will say, like, one of the things that I was looking for in the speech is like what percentage of the speech would be foreign policy and what would be domestic policy, because I think that says a lot about where his focus is in the next year. And he spent the bulk of the speech talking about domestic policy, which makes me think he is hearing the wing of the Republican Party that's very America first and does not want the foreign intervention and what have you. So, I don't think that there is any more clarity on what's happening in Iran here. But I think one of the moments that I thought was most jarring was his whole conversation about trans policy.
And that was the first time that he really got mad at the Democrats.
Yeah.
Because there was one of his guests is somebody who has actually, I was looking this up. It's actually a pending lawsuit right now against like their school that they went to. And it has to do with like pronouns and like how they were being dressed at school. And, I think it's an ongoing investigation, right? So I also feel like it's kind of hard to have someone there and allege that all these things happen when it's still an ongoing investigation. But the weird thing about it was like, we just found out about this person who identified as some pronouns, but he's saying that they were pushed on this person. And now they're not, identifying by those pronouns, which by the way is also totally fucking fine. That's the thing. Like if you know what I mean? Like, and so that doesn't have, I didn't fully understand it, but then it morphed into, can you even believe we're talking about this?
Which agreed. That's the thing is like, actually, now that you mention it, yeah, why are we talking about this? Like we have bigger fish to fry, my friend.
And then he got really mad because the Democrats, this is what was really interesting about the whole State of the Union is that like we didn't necessarily know when the Democrats were clapping, when they might have actually been agreeing with something, or, I don't know if they clapped for the USA hockey team. I don't know if they clapped for the World War II veterans. And so I would be curious to know that, but they did not clap when this sage I don't know what pronouns this person wants
I don't know either. I couldn't follow the story. It's like she's a she. I don't know.
So anyway, they didn't apparently clap for that because what they would be clapping for is like this like going back in time with gender and gender binary, and like that's what they'd be clapping for. It's like, so I don't know. I mean, and then he freaked out. He freaked the fuck out.
Yeah. I mean, it's his greatest hits. Like it's to be expected that these are his greatest hits. I was surprised to see Elizabeth Warren there.
I wasn't, because listen, I told you, I said, if I was in elected office, which, watch out guys, I would have gone. Like, I feel like Elizabeth Warren's like, I'm going to watch you. And also too, like, I know she's got a couple of things going on right now with Trump that she wants him to put through. So I think like, what is going to be the bigger, better thing in the long term with Trump? He does want you there. Like he wants people there.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at some of the things that I also came in sort of that second half after we talked, which was he referred to the people in the situations in St. Paul and Minneapolis. He referred to them as Somali pirates, which like, to me, I'm like, okay, we get it. You caught Captain Phillips on TV the other night. but like they're not Somali pirates. Like, yes, there's a very large Somali
And
population.
Representative Ilhan Omar was in that, like a duly elected official was, in there. Something interesting is we've been watching, we have the stream coming up from the White House, and then our producer Ann has been showing up the stream of Fox News, and they've been surprisingly panning. Like they've been doing a good job of panning to the people in the audience. I think maybe it's just the press pool that's doing it. It's not Fox specifically, because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
coming up on my New York Times feed as well. But they showed Rep Ilhan Omar during that.
Someone said, I'm tired of fake clapping and standing. Here's what I'll say. This is, hear me out, you guys. This is always how the State of the Union is in that
Yes.
aspect. In that regard, like
I
if
agree.
it doesn't matter if there was Kamala Harris up there, we'd be seeing the exact same thing right now.
The only thing that's different, other than like, everything about him as a showman, is the amount of awards he's given out tonight.
I know. I was like, where's my award?
This feels very like Academy, like he's competing with Jimmy Kimmel. You know what I mean? He's like, we can give awards here too.
I think our guest is back, which I'm so excited about.
Yeah, we got some fun people to chew on it all with us.
I'm so excited that
Do we have Tracy?
Oh my God.
Hi.
Hi,
my
pal.
Hi.
We're so excited you're here. You guys, Tracy E. Gilchrist. She's a journalist. She is the host of a new podcast called Holding Space with Tracy E. Gilchrist. It's so
Yeah.
good. I don't know. She's had some incredible guests already. She had Frankie Grande, who's a personal favorite of
Yes.
mine.
So
We're
fun.
so glad you're here.
Yeah.
Have you been watching the State of the Union, and are you okay?
Well, two things. I will just say I'm fighting a cold, so I'm a little raspy. I have my Carol voice on today, which I personally love on some level.
Yeah.
No, because I've had a cold, I'm not drinking. And so this tells me that I really must love you both to be watching this, white knuckling it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we're grateful. We are
We're-
grateful for your sexy raspy voice and staying with us.
You know
Yeah,
who
I'm
doesn't have a raspy
glad to be
voice?
here.
Trump is still going strong.
Yeah, Trump is going strong.
I mean, he's going strong except for the slurring. There are quite a few slurs, which makes me want to drink even more. So, yeah, he's going strong. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand him. His capacity to push through these things. I don't know. I was hoping he would just
Keel
collapse.
over. I know. Yeah, just keel over. I'm hoping he's going to end this speech by saying thank you for your attention to this matter.
Well,
I would love that.
we wanted to ask you a little bit about, the topic of trans folks came up in this
Yeah.
speech. And
In a very odd way.
in a really odd way, in a way that I don't even know how to exactly talk about what I just heard,
Yeah.
because I don't want to misgender
Right.
someone. So like hearing that moment, seeing that person who, by the way, did not look excited to be there.
No.
And
they
also,
looked-
isn't this a little queer coded?
yeah, it's very queer
Right?
coded.
It's very, very queer. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So what did you think of
Well,
that moment?
I agree. It felt like they didn't. I'm gonna call them they because I don't know what they're. It
Right.
felt like they didn't want to be there. And yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Tracy. It is bizarre.
Well, I hadn't heard of this case, so when I heard that, I went, "Oh God, now I have to do a deep dive." So I've been sitting here trying to read court documents. This young person's name is Sage Blair. Their adopted parent, had filed suit against a school in Appomattox County, alleging that Sage was allowed to come out as trans and be treated as trans at school without telling the parents. This was the allegations. Sage apparently had kind of like what we maybe used to call androgynous look for a while when they were 14, and apparently at one point said they were using they them pronouns, and a teacher honored that and said you can use whatever bathroom corresponds with how you feel. And when that began, incessant, really disgusting, gross bullying began, mostly from boys in school who did not seem to be censured. However, the I guess Sage ran away at one point. There was allegations of sex trafficking. I mean, it's a very dark story.
Yeah.
So this young person has endured a great deal. The parents blamed it on the school trying to align with their gender identity. And I don't know. I don't know how Sage wants to identify. I can't figure that out from
That's
the
what
way
I
this
felt. I
lawsuit is
couldn't
written.
understand the story, is I couldn't tell whether Sage, and it didn't seem
Yeah.
like Sage wanted to be there.
Also, too, it's like
Right.
they keep alleging like they're trying to make them perform surgeries and do all the, and it's like, oh, so it sounds like that Sage was kind of going like figuring out who they are,
Right.
and a teacher was honoring that. It doesn't seem like there was anything that big happening. It just sounds like things got really hard and sad as that
Right.
continued. And I think it's, I was kind of like, okay, so that's your story. That's
Yeah.
like the best. That's the best.
That's it. Yeah.
And how did you see that reaction? That was the first sort of outburst that Trump had at the Democrats. Did you see that sort of reaction he
Yeah.
had at them? And
Calling them crazy. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it pans
Well,
to Sarah McBride.
Yeah.
Oh my
It was
God.
interesting that it went to Sarah McBride. I noticed that too.
Yeah, I mean, this is just part of the playbook, right? It was all laid out in Project 2025. They want
Yep.
to erase LGBTQ plus history. They want to make it so that trans people cannot live safely in this country. And, the push to ban gender affirming care for trans youth is strong with this administration. I mean, NYU, I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it Langone or the
Mhm, yeah.
hospital? Yeah, is no longer providing gender affirming care for trans youth. And that entails, more often than not, puberty blockers and hormone therapy, if it comes to that. And, like social transition. But Trump lied ahead of the 2024 election. He said, you send your boys to school, they're going to come back girls. They're handing out gender affirming care in schools, in public schools where honestly, teachers are paying for their own,
Yeah.
crayons
Right.
and
These
scissors.
kids barely get sex ed. Like,
They barely get
Right.
to read.
yeah.
Right.
So
So this is, trans people are an easy scapegoat because a lot of people don't think that they know a trans person. So they're easy to scapegoat and, label as something other and very terrifying, when we all know the more terrifying people are in office right now who are covering up the Epstein files. They don't care about children. He doesn't care about children.
I think it was really interesting that, earlier this week, Trump was like, I don't really care about the girls' hockey team. But then it's like their entire platform is about women's sports. And so all of a sudden he had to sort of backtrack. I think we've got another pal to bring in here with us to bring into the conversation. We have Under the Desk News. V Spear is in the house to join us in this conversation. V's
Hi,
also been watching-
besties.
Hey, the gang.
V
Well,
and Tracy,
here.
do y'all know each other?
We don't, but I have wanted to know you, so I'm happy to
Now
be here.
you
with
do.
Yes,
Oh
I
my
do.
gosh.
This
What
is
an-
iconic
this is an
meeting.
iconic
I'm
meeting.
so glad
It's
to
pretty
be.
great. I know we're
Yeah.
getting our
V, how you
I
holding
heard
up?
you were talking about the gays and the trans. So I said,
Yeah.
well, I have to get in here. I
You
have
gotta
to hop
get in here.
getting in here.
V, what did you
Yeah, that
think
was
of-
wild. Exploitation of a child, like crazy. And also I fear for that person who clearly did not want to be there, did not want to be made a national spectacle of.
They seemed super uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was a very ugly, strange thing to do to a person. And then to be like, and they got a full ride to Liberty University, tells me that there was some sort of exchange that happened with their parents of
Oh, I
like
didn't pick that up.
this being sort of this was set up to be a moment. And so now
Right.
this kid who obviously had a horrible thing happen to them, horrible experience happened to them, we have to figure that out, is now, like gonna go to Liberty University and gonna perform for Trump and gonna do whatever because, when you are that young, you are still so financially and emotionally dependent on your nuclear family, like your original family, that I just think that was wildly exploitative. It's kind of like how Laken Riley's parents originally did not want her story to be exploited. And now it's kind of like, well, it is what it is.
yeah, they brought back a couple of those the family of the woman, the Ukrainian woman who was stabbed on the bus. Like there was a lot of sort of like trauma porn. I hope it doesn't cancel.
I think the wildest thing of this whole entire circus that I just witnessed is the fact that almost all of the guests and people that he pointed out either died or were severely wounded since he's taken office. It was like, how do you think that this is showing the American people strength, stability, growth, when every single story you've brought forward is somebody who was a major crime victim under your administration? It was very odd. And the graphic detail he uses to describe these crimes is just
except for the peepaws. That's what I
know.
Lots of
there were so many peepaws. It's like
they were like, we got to get these World War II guys in, and I appreciate that. I think that's good.
Officially,
that's
the
the thing.
longest State of the Union, by the way. He just finished.
Yeah.
We're all here. We're all awake. We all have our energy drinks. It was the longest State of the Union ever. And it was an hour and 47 minutes. So, speaking of peepaws, Trump didn't keel over. Thank you for joining.
Boy.
Before I get canceled, I just want to say that I love seeing the World War II veterans. And I think
it was nice.
That's there was this whole thing of him getting mad at people and saying like, oh, you're not standing and you're not whatever. And V, I don't know if you had any like different views, like not like like visual views, but there must have been times, because that was in the New York Times feed, where Democrats were clapping.
Oh, they certainly did. Elizabeth Warren stood and clapped for
They did
the
not show
Pass the
that.
Stock Act.
We did not see that once.
No, there was lots of times when it was a normal time to do it, like for the World War II guys, for the helicopter guy, for the Coastie who saved all those girls from the camp. Like all of those things are like absolutely bipartisan, huge wins, and
and
they
the
deserve
funny
to be
thing was
celebrated.
our feed, because of the way what they were seeing, were telling us they're not standing for anybody. The Democrats aren't standing for anybody, and it's like it just that to me
that's not
is
true.
Really that's
You
mainstream.
know who I stood for?
Who?
You know who I jumped up out of bed for? It was a jump scare. The Widow Kirk appeared. The Widow Kirk appeared. I thought I didn't think it was going to happen. Sooner be known to me, the Widow Kirk. And you know what? They severely
and tearful
cut
eyes.
her. Yes, they cut her down a lot compared to where she was in September.
You mean no pyrotechnics?
Charade.
She had no pyrotechnics?
I didn't recognize her without fireworks. I didn't recognize her.
Oh, who even was she?
I was like, oh my gosh, the Widow Kirk is here in real life. She didn't have her tissue. She did have her Mr. T starter set of gold rings. So I was glad to see that.
And she looked, she gave us like a good, like
the weep. Yeah, we got that. No mention of the Hortman family, which is a victim of political violence, of course.
Yeah, I know. I thought it was interesting to bring up. He did say like there's no space for political violence, but like didn't say anything about ICE murdering U.S. citizens in the street. Well, if you were to like pick out like what a highlight for you, like what do you think what do you think the headline is out of the State of the Union? I'd love to hear from both of you.
I really can't get past how much death and murder and destruction he admitted happened under his administration. I find it difficult to tell any part of the story without bringing up a victim of crime that occurred under his administration.
Yeah. Tracy, what about you?
I'd say, Trump adds new awards ceremony during awards season.
Yes. Yeah.
Also
it was really just an awards ceremony. How about you, Meredith? What stood out for you?
Well, I have a lot of things that I enjoy.
Eggs are 60% down. Price of eggs.
I do enjoy this banning of Wall Street single family homes. I want to give one shout out to that. Like he is trying to make some strides there. But in terms of like the things that stood out for me, like for real, I like when he says things just that's like strange things happen. Like I love when he just says things like that. But I'm sorry, now I'm getting to
like we've never seen before.
Yes, yeah, exactly. But my favorite part of the entire thing was when I learned about Baby Fred Trump.
Yeah, we got a baby Fred.
Like of all the things of a 79-year-old man to just be like, when my father was a baby, like what?
Yeah, he started way back. Way back.
That was
my father was a great man. I thought it was like a Dane Cook revival.
It was
And my favorite part about that was that he kept saying, well, he wouldn't like me to say that. And it's like, well, he's dead. So
Yeah.
he's dead.
I know, and he was like, he's old, but don't tell him I told you at the State of the Union.
He probably doesn't know he's dead. He's probably like going back to contact him on a fucking Ouija board.
he's
What I
probably
think-
speaking to him.
We were talking to Sharon McMahon beforehand about like
Ooh, I love Sharon.
what I know, she's the best. But we were talking about like, what makes the State of the Union valuable now when we hear from Trump every single day? And what stood out to me with the State of the Union was just how much we didn't get anything. Like I thought, I went into it, I said to Meredith, I thought we were gonna get like 45 minutes in, and by the way, we just bombed Iran. Like
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna get like fireworks, and I thought part of what was interesting is like on any given Tuesday, we get more from him. And this was really like sort of his victory lap. It felt like he actually was pretty tame, all things considered. Like he stayed pretty, it was an award show. And that's what surprised me most off the, as my first takeaway.
I mean, the one thing that I did write down that I wanted to just point out is 100% of the jobs that have been created have been in the private sector. And I just feel like that is just like, that's a disgusting like he thinks
I wrote that down too.
He thinks that's something to be proud of. And you know what? I also want to say is like, as the daughter of a national park ranger, my father was a park ranger his entire career. I'm very proud of that. Those are the careers that take people to the middle class and the upper middle class.
Yep.
And they're often, obviously I'm not, but they're often jobs that are taken on by, like people of color, women, these public service jobs. And so it's like, so basically what you're saying is like, people are not getting ahead anymore.
Yeah.
That's what that
He
statistic
doesn't have a good jobs report, so we had to say that. The other thing I
Right.
thought was interesting he admitted to is he's like, and we knocked 2.4 million people off of food stamps. Like it was a good thing.
Great.
It was a good thing. I was like, oh my gosh.
Right.
Did you?
So now they're
I
starving.
As
Mhm.
as we sort of like come to the end of our evening, what do you think about the Democrats here? They did their sort of counter programming tonight. I think there was a protester there. Do you think that there was any sort of like victory here in terms of like how people see the two parties and how they're acting? Was there cohesion here or like business people?
No, I think we saw a good split of the Democratic Party tonight. I think you saw the people who were willing to sit in that room and clap for tradition's sake and allow Trump to talk shit to them. And then I had on both TVs, I had on the Katie Fang, Joy Reid, people State of
right.
the Union. Actually, they did phenomenal. And I think that was the spot to be tonight. I think the way that Summer Lee led a lot of her speeches at that event, and now we'll do the Working Family Party response, which I can't wait to see, will elevate her on the national stage to be a figure we can believe in, a figure that we can follow, that we can feel inspiration from, that can raise up other candidates. I think we are seeing Summer Lee become what AOC was when she was young in her career. We're getting like this huge lift from her. And I could not be more proud of her and more excited to be a member of the Working Families Party.
Yes.
Which is, like we try to go hard on the primaries for progressive people and then we eventually vote blue. It's not a third party that's like a spoiler type thing. But I feel so strong about the Working Families Party being the future of the Democratic Party. And that made me happy.
Can I give our last question to Tracy as we close it out here? Tracy,
I hope I can answer it.
what you're gonna have? What do you think? What would you recommend Trump hold space for?
I would like to see him hold space for his next medical report coming in. That's not like the best use of holding space, and it was not the.
It's a sliding scale.
spirit.
Holding space is a sliding scale.
Yeah.
It was not the spirit in which I invoked it when I held space with the lyrics of Defying Gravity. That was like a very pro-queer thing when I said that. But no, I really hope he holds space for a really lousy medical report.
Well,
Coming
speaking
soon.
of pro-queer, I love the moment that he gives Zoran Mamdani a shout out.
Oh, he
did.
still
That
has
was
a
like-
crush.
Loves
Yep.
like one
He's
thing is
crushing.
he loves young virile men. He was like the U.S. hockey team and also my
They
boy
love men.
Zoran.
Listen, Zoran is
He's a
good-looking
hottie.
dude. Y'all,
Can I
this
note
has been
one thing that I noticed.
Yeah,
Yes.
please.
Yeah.
He invoked really early on we're not about his, his accomplishments. And then he said, we're not going back, which I think is really interesting because he has this habit of taking language from queer communities. And I mean, that's clearly, and from women. And those are chants I've heard at pride parades back in the day. We're not going back. And I think that he keeps appropriating these terms from queer art, etc. And I just found that really interesting. That
is he a secret gay? Do you think? I mean, the Phantom of the Opera, the YMCA, the hairspray, the weird wife, the
it's Liberace.
Talking about Arnold Palmer's phallus.
Yes,
I mean,
it's interesting. I didn't pick that up, Tracy, but it's interesting that he said we're not going back, but he's made his entire political brand "Make America Great Again," and then Kamala Harris on "We're not going back." It's like, wait a minute. What?
We're going back to when it was.
What happened to the original plot of the movie?
I know, you gals.
That is such a great point, Tracy.
Yeah, that is
honestly,
a really good point.
Could you think of two better people to close this wild night out with?
I know. I said this to Sharon. One of the things that I love about this show is we just get to talk to our smartest friends.
Oh my
all the time.
Let's do another. Let's have these two back and do another an episode of the moment.
Yeah, anytime.
Let's do it.
Come back.
Well,
I enjoy this. Yeah.
Great job tonight, guys.
All right, guys. Have a great night.
Let it all go. Yeah.
Bye, y'all.
Bye later.
Well, that's a wrap. We did it.
We did it.
We survived.
We're
Some of our
so
snacks
grateful to our friends who popped on. We had Representative Leisure Fernandez. We had DNC Chair Ken Martin. We had Sharon McMahon. Then we had our buddy V, Under the Desk News. We had Tracy Gilchrist. And then we watched Trump. And then, as always, we had one another. My dad was watching this whole time.
He's been taking photos.
We're
here.
So
grateful
I'm going to take
him
him to pizza after this. And our producer, Full Picture, has been here prompting us, feeding us, being the best. Our friends in the studio, Gabby and Alistair, the best. And we'll be back in your feeds on Friday to talk more shit.
Yeah. We have Tara Palmieri coming in on Friday.
Yeah,
so
we're going to do.
I'm going to be interested to talk to her about some of, what is the fallout, or not fallout, but like what do we see from post State of the Union with some of these Epstein survivors that were there?
Well, and the Clintons are going to be testifying
on the 27th, right?
On the 26th and 27th. Yeah. So she's going to have lots to.
Yeah, that's going to be a good episode.
Thank you to Anthony V, who's been sticking with us all night, even though he's clearly a Republican. And like when I said, like, Anthony, I love Anthony V. Anthony V, you are welcome here, even though we disagree strongly on so many things. You are welcome here all the time, and keep commenting. Seriously, I'm not kidding. We love it.
You guys, thank you so much for hanging out. We'll see you on Friday, as always.
Bye.
Follow us on YouTube. Bye.